Welcome to my channel, Old Coins History 333. In this video, I tell you about the United States of America Washington quarter dollar, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. The United States of America is home to some of the most iconic and valuable coins in the world, and today, we're diving into one of them, the Washington quarter dollar coin from 1971. It's more than just pocket change. It's a piece of history, and it might surprise you just how much it's worth today. Let's start by taking a look at the basics. The Washington quarter dollar coin was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in the U.S., with Washington's image appearing on the front. However, the 1971 version of this coin is what we're focusing on today. Now, you may think a coin that's over 50 years old could be worth just a few cents above its face value. After all, it's only a quarter, right? But if you happen to have a 1971 Washington quarter with certain characteristics, you could be holding on to something much more valuable than you realize. First, it's important to note that most of the 1971 quarters were minted with the standard composition, featuring a copper-nickel alloy. These coins were mass-produced in the millions, and unless you have a rare error or variety, they aren't worth much more than face value. However, it's the rarities and special editions that stand out. For instance, one of the main things that can impact the value of a Washington quarter is its minting condition. Coins that are well preserved, meaning they've been kept in excellent shape without much wear or damage, will typically fetch a higher price than those that have been circulated extensively. If your 1971 quarter shows little signs of wear, no nicks, scratches, or discoloration, you may be in luck. Another thing to consider is the type of mint mark on the coin. There are three primary mints in the U.S.: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. While most of the 1971 quarters were minted in Denver, the ones from San Francisco are sometimes more sought after by collectors. This is especially true for proof coins, which are specially made for collectors and have a mirror-like finish. Let's take it a step further. If your 1971 Washington quarter has a unique error, like double strikes, off-center strikes, or unusual die cracks, it could increase the value exponentially. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for these rare, imperfect coins, and they can drive the price up significantly. So, let's get to the big question. What's the value of a 1971 Washington quarter dollar coin? Well, if your coin is in pristine condition, it could be worth much more than the typical few dollars it would bring at a standard coin shop. Some of the highest-priced 1971 quarters, particularly those with rare errors or minting anomalies, have been sold for thousands of dollars. But that's not all. Some extreme examples of rare 1971 Washington quarters have been known to reach even higher prices. So, how much is the most valuable 1971 Washington quarter dollar coin worth? The highest recorded sale for a 1971 Washington quarter is an incredible amount, one that will make any collector's jaw drop. If you happen to have the rarest of the rare, your 1971 Washington quarter could be worth a staggering $80,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A 1971 Washington quarter could be worth $80,000 if it meets the right criteria. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, with such a rich history and incredible value attached to it. That's the magic of coin collecting. You never know what treasure you might find. So, the next time you come across a 1971 Washington quarter in your pocket change, don't be so quick to dismiss it. It could be worth much more than you think. Keep an eye out for those rare conditions, mint marks, and errors, and who knows? You might just have a piece of U.S. history worth a small fortune. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep your eyes peeled for rare finds. You never know when you'll stumble upon a coin worth more than you could ever imagine. Top 2. The United States of America is home to some of the most treasured and sought-after coins in the world, and today, we're diving into one particular gem, the Washington quarter dollar coin from 1972. While this coin may seem like just another regular quarter in your pocket, it has hidden value that might surprise you. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, and since then, it has become one of the most iconic coins in American currency. The 1972 version of the Washington quarter was minted during a time when quarters were circulating widely, and most of these coins were produced in huge quantities. But Just because a coin is common doesn't mean it can't be worth something substantial. And that's exactly what we're about to explore. First, let's talk about the basics. The 1972 Washington quarter was made of a copper-nickel clad composition, just like many other quarters from the era. These were the standard circulation coins, produced in the millions by the U.S. Mint. So, at first glance, it might seem like they wouldn't be worth much more than face value, right? Well, here's where things get interesting. For most coins, the value is tied to their condition. The better preserved a coin is, the higher its potential worth. If you have a 1972 Washington quarter that is in mint condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, it could be worth much more than its 25-cent face value. Coins that are well preserved are often sought after by collectors, and they can fetch a price that's far beyond what you might expect. Another factor to consider when evaluating the value of a 1972 Washington quarter is its mint mark. Just like other coins, the mint mark tells you where the coin was produced. For the 1972 quarters, there are two main mints: the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, marked with a D. Although the majority of the 1972 quarters were produced in Denver, collectors tend to look for specific variations that could make a coin more valuable. But here's the twist. It's not just about the condition or the mint mark. There are rare error coins that can take the value of a 1972 Washington quarter to a whole new level. Error coins are produced when something goes wrong during the minting process, and these errors can make a coin unique. A double die, a misstruck coin, or a coin with an off-center strike are just a few examples of errors that can increase the value of a coin dramatically. Some of these rare error coins are in high demand, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. For example, if your 1972 Washington quarter features a notable error, such as doubling on the date or the word liberty, it could be worth much more than you could imagine. Coins with significant errors can end up in collectors' hands for thousands of dollars. You may be wondering, just how valuable can a 1972 Washington quarter get? While most 1972 quarters are worth just a few dollars or less, there are exceptional cases where a rare, error-free coin or one with unique characteristics can be worth much more. The most valuable 1972 Washington quarters, especially those with errors or that are in pristine condition, have been sold for incredibly high prices in auctions and private sales. So, here's the big reveal. The most valuable 1972 Washington quarter ever sold reached an eye-popping price of $77,000. Yes, that's right, a single 1972 quarter, in exceptional condition or with a rare error, could be worth $77,000. If you think about it, that's an incredible amount of money for a coin that was once worth just a quarter. Coin collecting is an exciting world because you never know when you'll come across a coin that's far more valuable than you might initially think. The thrill of the hunt is what makes coin collecting so rewarding. So, what does this mean for you? The next time you dig through your spare change or come across a 1972 Washington quarter, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look at its condition, mint mark, and any possible errors. Who knows? You might be holding on to a rare treasure that could be worth thousands of dollars. Thanks for tuning in today, and remember, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Keep your eyes open for those rare finds, and you might just stumble upon a coin that could make you a small fortune. Happy hunting! Top 3. We're diving into the 1983 Washington quarter dollar coin and uncovering its true value, which may surprise you. The Washington quarter has been part of American currency since 1932, and in 1983, the coin continued to circulate as a staple in the pockets of millions of Americans. But while most of these coins were produced in large quantities, it's the rare few that stand out. Let's take a closer look at the 1983 quarter and explore what makes it so special. The 1983 Washington quarter, like its predecessors, was made from a copper-nickel clad composition, which is the standard for quarters in the modern era. It's important to note that the U.S. Mint produced billions of these quarters that year, so in general, you'd expect most of them to be worth just their face value, 25 cents. But here's where it gets interesting. The value of a coin isn't always determined by how many were made, but by how rare and well-preserved it is. Now, let's talk about condition. Coin collectors are always looking for coins in excellent shape. A 1983 quarter in pristine condition, without scratches, dents, or discoloration, could be more valuable than one that has been heavily circulated. Coins that remain in uncirculated or mint state condition are highly desirable because they've been well taken care of and retain their original details. But the real value of a 1983 Washington quarter can go much higher when you consider other factors, like mint marks and errors. Mint marks are located on the reverse of the coin and indicate which U.S. mint facility produced the coin. In 1983, most of the quarters were minted in Philadelphia, so quarters with a P mint mark are the most common. However, coins from the Denver Mint, marked with a D, or the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S, can sometimes be rarer and more valuable depending on the circumstances. While the mint mark can play a role in a coin's value, error coins are what truly excite collectors. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, leading to a coin that is unique or flawed. For example, if a 1983 Washington quarter has a misstruck design or a double die, meaning the design appears twice in certain places, it could be worth a small fortune. These error coins are highly sought after by numismatists who are willing to pay top dollar for them. Some of the most valuable 1983 quarters come from these error types, which can cause them to stand out among thousands of other ordinary coins. If your 1983 Washington quarter has any unusual characteristics, it's definitely worth having it professionally appraised to determine its true value. So, how much can a 1983 Washington quarter actually be worth? In most cases, a standard 1983 quarter is worth little more than the 25 cents it's stamped with. However, when you factor in factors like mint marks, condition, and errors, the value can go up significantly. The rarest and most valuable 1983 Washington quarters have been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars in auctions and private sales. But here's the real kicker. The most valuable 1983 Washington quarter that has ever been sold fetched a staggering price of $63,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1983 quarter, with the right characteristics and in the right condition, could be worth $63,000. Imagine finding a coin that was once worth just 25 cents, only to discover it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. This is the thrilling world of coin collecting, where rare finds can result in life-changing fortunes. While most 1983 Washington quarters won't fetch that kind of money, it's always worth taking a closer look at your coins, because you never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you stumble upon a 1983 Washington quarter in your change, take a moment to examine it closely. Is it in great condition? Does it have an error? Could it be one of the rare few that could make you a small fortune? Coin collecting is more than just a hobby. It's an exciting adventure that can lead to unexpected discoveries. Thanks for joining me today, and remember to keep your eyes peeled. You might just have a rare 1983 Washington quarter worth far more than you ever imagined. Happy collecting! Top 4. We're going to take a deep dive into the 1990 Washington quarter dollar coin. It may seem like just another coin from the late 20th century, but there's more to it than meets the eye. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency for decades, and while most coins from 1990 might be worth their face value, there are some key factors that can make this coin incredibly valuable. So, sit tight, because by the end of this video, you might just be looking at your own pocket change in a whole new light. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Ever since then, this coin has been a familiar sight, and it still carries his image today. Fast forward to 1990, and the U.S. Mint was continuing to produce millions of these quarters, most of which were circulating widely throughout the country. However, not all 1990 quarters are created equal, and some can be worth much more than the standard 25 cents. When we talk about the value of any coin, the first thing that comes to mind is condition. And this is where the 1990 Washington quarter can start to stand out. Most quarters that were minted that year are just like any other. They've been used, worn, and exchanged countless times. But if you have a 1990 Washington quarter in exceptional condition, one that hasn't been in circulation, that's free of scratches, dings, or discoloration, then you might have a coin that's worth far more than face value. You see, coins that have been well preserved and remain in what's known as mint state or uncirculated condition are highly sought after by collectors. The better the condition, the higher the price. A 1990 Washington quarter that's in pristine condition could fetch significantly more at a coin auction or private sale. And there's more to it than just condition. Another important factor to consider is the mint mark. Mint marks indicate which U.S. mint facility produced the coin. For 1990, most of the quarters were minted in Philadelphia, meaning the ones without a mint mark are the most common. However, quarters from the Denver Mint, marked with a D, and San Francisco Mint, marked with an S, can sometimes be more desirable, especially if they're in excellent condition or were part of a special set. But here's where it really gets interesting: error coins. These are coins that were minted with mistakes or unusual characteristics that make them stand out from the rest. Whether it's a double strike, a misaligned die, or an off-center strike, error coins can be worth a lot more than their intended value. If your 1990 Washington quarter has one of these rare minting errors, it could be worth a small fortune. Coin collectors go crazy for these types of coins, and depending on the error, you could see your quarter's value rise dramatically. Some examples of error coins include coins with double dies, where the design appears to be doubled, or coins with strange marks or unique patterns that shouldn't be there. If you find one of these rare 1990 quarters, you might be holding on to something incredibly valuable. So, just how valuable can a 1990 Washington quarter get? Most 1990 quarters will still be worth just 25 cents, or a little more if they're in excellent condition, but here's where it gets exciting. The most valuable 1990 Washington quarter ever sold went for an incredible amount of money. You might be shocked to hear that a rare 1990 Washington quarter, in mint condition or with an error, was sold for a jaw-dropping price of $50,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 1990 Washington quarter, with the right characteristics or in pristine condition, could be worth $50,000. That's a staggering amount of money for a coin that's only worth 25 cents in general circulation. So, what does this mean for you? If you have a 1990 Washington quarter lying around, it's definitely worth taking a second look. It could be a rare find, and while it may not be worth $50,000, there's a chance it could be worth more than you think. Whether it's an error coin or just in perfect condition, you never know what hidden treasure might be sitting in your pocket change. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 1990 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how a simple piece of currency can be worth much more than its face value. So, the next time you come across a 1990 quarter, take a moment to inspect it carefully. You never know. You might just have a coin worth far more than you imagined. Top 5. We're going to break down why the 1994 Washington quarter is so valuable and what factors could make it worth far more than its face value. The Washington quarter has been in circulation for decades, first introduced in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. This coin became one of the most iconic and widely recognized coins in U.S. history. By 1994, the design had been well established, and millions of these quarters were minted. But while most of these quarters were distributed for everyday use, there are some rare, special examples that collectors will pay a premium for. Before we talk about the specific value of the 1994 Washington quarter, let's quickly cover the basics. Like most quarters of this time, the 1994 Washington quarter was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition. It was produced in large quantities by the U.S. Mint, and so you would think that most of these coins are worth only their face value, 25 cents. And in most cases, you would be right. However, there are certain characteristics that could significantly increase the value of a 1994 Washington quarter. First, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. Coins that have been well preserved, free from scratches, dings, and wear, are much more desirable to collectors. A quarter that has remained in uncirculated or mint condition over the years is likely to fetch a higher price than one that has been heavily used in everyday transactions. So, if you happen to find a 1994 Washington quarter that looks almost as good as the day it was minted, you may have a valuable coin on your hands. Another key factor to consider is the mint mark. Each U.S. coin has a mint mark that indicates where it was produced. For the 1994 Washington quarter, there were two primary mint marks: the D for the Denver Mint and no mint mark for the Philadelphia Mint. Most of the 1994 quarters were made at the Denver Mint, so the ones from Philadelphia are a little rarer. This can make them more appealing to collectors who are looking for something less common. But here's where it gets even more exciting: minting errors. The 1994 Washington quarter is not immune to the occasional mistake, and errors in the minting process can turn an otherwise standard coin into a highly valuable collector's item. Error coins come in many different forms, including double dies, misstruck coins, and off-center strikes. These errors can make a coin unique, and collectors are often willing to pay top dollar for these one-of-a-kind pieces. For example, if your 1994 Washington quarter has any unusual markings or design flaws that could be the result of an error during the minting process, it could significantly increase its value. These types of rare coins are highly sought after in the coin collecting community, and their prices can soar depending on the severity of the error and the interest from buyers. So, now that we know what factors contribute to the value of a 1994 Washington quarter, let's talk about just how much one of these coins can actually be worth. Most 1994 quarters will still be worth only 25 cents, but if you happen to have one in mint condition or with a minting error, the value could be much higher. The most valuable 1994 Washington quarter ever sold, which was in pristine condition or featured a rare minting error, fetched an eye-popping $40,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $40,000. A single 1994 Washington quarter, in the right condition or with a rare error, could be worth this staggering amount of money. Now, before you start digging through your coin jar, keep in mind that not every 1994 Washington quarter will be worth this much. But the fact that a coin that's just over 25 years old can command such a high price shows how much the right factors, like condition, mint marks, and errors, can influence its value. Coin collecting is all about discovering hidden treasures, and while most coins will remain relatively common, it's always worth taking a closer look at your quarters. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare find that could change your financial future, so the next time you find a 1994 Washington quarter, take a moment to inspect it. Is it in perfect condition? Does it have an unusual minting error? If so, you might have just found a valuable coin worth far more than the face value printed on it. Thank you for watching today's video. The world of coin collecting is filled with excitement and surprises, and if you keep your eyes open, you could find a rare gem that might be worth a lot more than you think. Happy hunting and good luck!